Hey, it's Tim Terrio, Terrio Therapy Fitness. Hanging out with Dr. Garcia again. Talked about last time, this downward spiral and reversing that and get an upward spiral. And, on the athlete side, we talked about that they have to have a plan, right? And let's talk about weight loss, because that seems to be, 60% of Kern County is now considered to be overweight or obese. And the trend, everybody talks about the trend, but I really think your downward spiral is part of it too, because
Absolutely.
it just becomes self-perpetuating, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, but then the failure rate of diets is so high. Why do you think the failure rate is so high?
I think a lot of it is kind of similar to what we've talked about with athletes, is you need to have that balance in your life. I think what happens a lot, if you watch The Biggest Loser, they're kind of sequestered in a place that's kind of remote. They don't have a lot of these other temptations they would normally experience on a regular basis in life. Everything's planned for them, and they just have to follow the procedure. Well, that's not life. I think you can definitely have trainers, such as yourself and dietitians, but you also have to engineer these other things within your life to make yourself more successful. Being able to have a plan, I think, is huge, but being able to kind of put things in place on a daily basis that allow you to be successful in that plan are another thing. Time management, I think, is probably oftentimes a huge killer when it comes to being able to maintain one's diet, weight loss, those kind of things. How many times we've been in a pinch, we didn't pack our lunch, so you get to the point where you're starving and you'll eat anything. And that's kind of a product of time management. Because you were staying out late or watching that movie up late, you didn't get good sleep, so you were in a rush, you had to go iron your clothes, whatever. So I think a lot of it is, like you said, having a plan that includes, okay, when am I going to eat? What am I going to eat? When am I going to exercise? What am I going to relax? When I look at my day, I have 24 hours. What am I going to do with that 24 hours? And I think a lot of it is, being in an environment that's not controlled. So if that's the case, you have to control your environment. You have to put those things in place that are going to allow you to be successful. Kind of like what we talked about with athletics, is you need to kind of build. Okay, you get up, you're able to have enough time to eat a good breakfast. You have a good breakfast, you feel good, you've slept, and because I'm able to do that, I feel like I have energy, I'm able to do well in work, I get along with my coworkers, that kind of thing. So being able to really have those things in place that allows you to be successful, really no different than the athletes in that respect.
Yeah, and I think even more so with the athletes, we talked about how a lot of simple things to do. You can make yourself, and I've read a couple books on psychology, and it amazes me. There was one book I was reading, and it talked about what you just said, the simple things. They said things just like, if you have to go 20 seconds out of your way, that will change people's mentality.
Yeah.
So if your shoes aren't sitting by the edge of your bed, and you have to mentally go, I got to go get my shoes. Well, that's a reason not to go exercise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
you'll lose your cell phone, and you're searching for your cell phone for 10 minutes, or you're trying to find your keys. You kind of get so frustrated. It's like, that cut into my workout time. And then you cut into your workout time, you don't work out, you feel guilty for not working out, you're kind of not real fun to be around, you feel like you're behind in work, you forget your lunch, so you go eat, you feel too full to go work out in 2 hours. It can be those very simple things that you're describing. Absolutely.
Just something the better you can streamline it and get it prepared, right? So the more streamlined it is, the more likely you are to do it.
Yes. Yeah.
And go from there, right?
Yeah, the less snags, definitely.
All right. So plan it out. If it's something you're having difficulty with, think ahead of what's stopping you, right?
Yeah.
And if it's, I can't find my shoes. Well, then make sure your shoes are where you're finding.
Yeah.
If it's I can't get my lunch ready, then
make sure it's done the night before, any of those things. But those markers, like you said, can kind of promote us to be able to increase our healthy lifestyle, take out some of the chaos in our lives that can kind of really put a damper on our ability to be successful.
Yeah, and I've said it before, but I think we'll say it again here. The simple things in life are just as simple not to do, right? It's simple to do them, but it's just simple not to do them.
Yeah, you're correct.
But we gotta compound that by compound your good decisions.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.